What's up, guys? So today I'm going to be cleaning the mass airflow sensor in my 2007 Toyota Tacoma. First things first, gotta pop it in the hood. I already have these bolts, nuts loosened up here, so we'll just pop these things out. Then remove this plastic cover. So with this cover off, right here is the mass airflow sensor. So what we're gonna end up doing is popping this clip off, these two screws, and we'll start to spray it down and clean it. So actually in the beginning of summer, I went ahead and cleaned up the throttle body. That was actually pretty dirty. I probably should have done the mass airflow sensor at the same time, but time didn't permit, so I didn't end up doing it. So what we're gonna do, I already have this clip loosened up here. We're gonna wanna pop it off the rest of the way. Get that out of there. And then next, we're gonna do these two screws right here. All right, I'm gonna remove these two screws. It's a little hard doing it one-handed, but we'll see what happens. Just don't wanna drop anything. I have a magnetic parts bin over here, just to hold everything in place. Alright, so now that we got those screws out, we're gonna go ahead and pop this thing out of here. Kind of twist it and pull it out gently. Don't want to damage anything. So here's the sensor right here. Doesn't look too bad, but there might be, actually it looks like there's a little bit of dust and debris. See if I can get this to focus. Yeah, a little bit of dust and debris on those metal wires there. So next what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you how to clean that out by spraying it. You do not want to touch any of those wires because you don't want to damage them. So what I'm gonna use here to clean it is a contact cleaner. You don't want to use brake cleaner because sometimes it'll damage the plastic and it's not really the best thing to be using for electronics. So this stuff here has no chlorine solvent in it. It's safe for plastic, fast drying, and it'll leave no residue. So this should be safe for this application. They actually make special mass airflow sensor, cleaning sprays and stuff like that. But let me see if I can show you guys again. But you can see there's a little bit of dust and residue on that wire there. This side might be easier to see. You can see how black that is compared to this other side here, because the air actually flows through it in this direction. So you have that little bit of buildup right there, and that's what we want to clean off. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shake up this can. I'm going to give this a couple sprays. You want to be kind of gentle with it. Definitely don't want to poke or touch, agitate those wires there. But we want to do a couple good passes and sprays just to clean off all that residue. So I don't know if you guys are able to see that, but look, now that wire right there is pretty shiny. So most of that buildup and stuff has already came off with just a couple quick sprays. So I'm gonna keep going a little more. And I also wanna clean inside there. As you can see, there's two more sets of metal wires that probably have some debris on them. Here, there's a lot of dirt and debris all around these edges. So I'm gonna try to spray those off. Just give it a good soak. Once again, I'll hit these. Go from this side too. So now you can see those metal wires there already look a lot better than it did before. See if I can get these ones on the inside. It still looks like there might be a little bit of debris on those. So I'll go blast it a couple more times. Now before I put this back in, I want to let this dry completely. It shouldn't take too long, being this formula that I'm using is fast drying, so I'm going to wait about, I don't know, 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes, then we'll throw it back in. One thing I like to point out too while that sensor is drying, this opening here, if you're going to leave this open for an extended period of time, if it's windy outside or something, if you're doing it outside, I'd maybe cover that up, maybe shove, like delicately put a paper towel or something in there, or a rag, just to prevent any contaminants from going in. Because anything that goes in here is going to go through the throttle body and directly into the engine, being the air filters on this side. So the air filter will not catch anything that falls into this hole. While I have this connector off here, I am going to put a little bit of dielectric grease in there. It actually looks pretty clean, but being I already have it off, I'm going to go ahead and do that. See if I can do this one-handed. Don't want to get too much, don't want to get too crazy with it, but just a little bit, just to keep those connections from corroding. There we go, that should be alright. Alright guys, now that this sensor is totally dry, before I put it in, I like to add, I always check and make sure there's a rubber O-ring right around here. Make sure that's still intact, not dry rotted, anything like that, because you want that to create a good seal right around here to not let any air in around this sensor. So being mine's still good, what I'm going to do is put this back in, kind of wiggle it around, because you'll feel that, you'll kind of feel it pop in. So now that that's in, what we're going to do is grab these two Phillips head screws. So being this is going into, these screws go into plastic, I try to get them started by hand before I use any tools to tighten them down, just to prevent cross-threading or stripping it out. So when screwing these in, you don't want to get too crazy, being that it is just going into plastic. Okay, you gotta finish screwing in the rest of this screw. Yeah, so with these, yeah, don't go crazy tight on them. Just make them snug. Perfect. So now that the sensor's screwed in, I'm gonna go ahead, plug in this connector. There you go, that snaps, good to hear. Make sure it's tight and secure. Lastly, all we gotta do is put on this plastic cover and we're done. All right, just gotta throw on this cover here. Snap those in back there. There we go. These two nuts. Alright, just want to snug these down. Once again, being this is just holding down this plastic cover, no reason to get too crazy with it. Alright, those are both snug, and that is it. It is done. So one of the reasons you want to clean this sensor here is if you have like a sporadic idle, sometimes if it gets too bad, the vehicle won't even want to run. And I think it's recommended to actually clean that out pretty much every time you do the air filter, because there will be a little bit of buildup on there. So it's not a bad idea to do it more often than not, because it can save you money with, you know, gas. If that's too dirty, your MPGs could definitely suffer. So being I'm on a 6-inch lift and bigger tires, you know, every mile per gallon helps. So cleaning this is just the easy, safe way of, you know, ensuring that I can get the most miles per gallon out of this truck. Alright, last thing I'm gonna do here I'm gonna fire this thing up. It is cold, so I'm sure that the idle will be high in the beginning, but I just want to make sure it runs and everything after messing with that sensor. Everything looks to be good. So this is my first like how-to video. If you guys like anything else or maybe any information on my truck, let me know in the comments below, and if this video helped, feel free to drop a like. Thank you.